All right, welcome back. In this lecture, we'll go over some CNN architecture examples and talk about some use cases for convolutional neural networks. So this deals with the use case objective in the module. So we're gonna show two examples of very famous architectures to give you an intuition about how the different layers are constructed. So the first is LeNet, and this was one of the first successful convolutional neural network designs way back from 1989, used for handwriting recognition, specifically for looking at handwritten digits in zip codes. The next is AlexNet, which is another famous convolutional neural network, and this was kind of the one that Geoffrey Hinton introduced back in 2012 that won the ImageNet contest, which was a contest at the time for classifying images, and it won it, I think, 2 or 3 years in a row, actually, or variants of AlexNet did. So let's look at these two. Let's start with LeNet. And here we have an image. So notice the image is rather small, 28 by 28, one channel. And that's because it's handwriting, so you're looking at handwriting of a single digit. And so right away they're doing a convolution. Notice they added in padding because in case the digit was too close to the edge, they didn't want to miss part of it. And it's a 5 by 5 kernel, so it's, that's the size of that little window that's going over the 28 by 28 image. So then after the convolution layer, it's then pooled. Notice here they use the sigmoid function, and this is really because this was designed in 1989, which was well before ReLU had mass popularity. So after the convolution layer, they pull it, sort of downsizing the image. Then they do another convolution layer, and you could think of this as extracting now kind of higher level features of the image. And then they go and they pull that. And then after that second layer of pulling, they go into a couple of dense layers before the output. And you could think of these final dense layers as further analyzing the features that have been extracted. Because remember, the idea with the convolutional neural network architectures are really to have a way to kind of come up with the features, transform the image, which is all this kind of spatially aware stuff, a whole bunch of pixels, and have it be something in vector form that can then just be simply reasoned about. And that's what is being accomplished here. The image after that second pulling layer is essentially now just a vector of values relating to some kind of features, and now you're able to go through a whole bunch of dense layers to process that and provide an output. Now let's look at the AlexNet. And so here we see that even though this is many years later than LeNet, it's starting out with a very similar approach where right away you're looking at a convolution layer acting directly on the image, followed by a pulling layer. Now the pulling layer is a little bit bigger, but also as was the convolution, the kernel size in the convolution, but you're also dealing with a larger picture as well. And then afterwards, again, they go also with a convolution and a pulling layer, and then further convolution layers, getting at higher and higher level features in the picture. So as lower level items are combined, additional convolutional layers you can think of as combining these kind of lower level things into higher characteristics. So for example, you might look at a hand, and right away as a human you see that's a hand. But really, first is you would see kind of the line between my fingers and the rest of the picture. So you'd see an edge. And then you'd see individual fingers and a palm. Those are then higher level features that are determined from the edges. Then from the fingers and the palm, then you can determine there's a hand. And so that's essentially what's going on here with these successive convolutional layers. They're generating higher and higher level features. And finally, they end that with also a pooling layer. And then just as with LINET, you have a bunch of dense layers that leads to the output. And again, notice you have much larger dense layers, but also you have many more classes that are being predicted in AlexNet as opposed to LINET. Now, one of the big differences between these two historically has also been the advent of GPUs. And AlexNet, that was the big thing that enabled it to work quite well. One issue they ran into with using other activation functions besides ReLU were things like vanishing gradient that we'll discuss in a later lecture, which is why you see they started using the ReLU function. And this makes a lot of sense because this is a much deeper neural network than LINET from a couple decades before. So what do these convolutional neural networks get used for nowadays? Well, facial recognition is one. Identifying features of a face and comparing it to the historical corpus of pre-identified individuals. Robotic vision systems identifying not only people but inanimate objects in a room so it could navigate around. And if you look at what Tesla is doing in their autonomous driving efforts, is it's solely based on vision and having convolutional neural networks that are very close to the hardware layer of the system. And so that, of course, goes right into autonomous vehicles. And when you look at the whole spectrum of what's available, vision and processing those using CNNs is extremely important. Medical imagery is another really interesting use case. Here in Arizona, the Mayo Clinic makes extensive use of CNNs for analyzing medical imagery for various illnesses or diseases. Physical security, so if you have security cameras and you want to see if someone's trying to gain access to a building, being able to pick out suspicious behavior, recognizing with a CNN is another use case, and there are several companies that actually do this today. Astronomy is also an interesting one, analyzing astronomical images using convolutional neural networks, tipping astronomers off to something that they should study more or put more observation on is another really interesting use case in a field that has advanced outside of computer science as a result of this technology. So that concludes today's lecture. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned.